Hello everybody, and we're back with another video. This one is a bit different because it's more of a tutorial than a gameplay, but we are going to be teaching you how you can win every PvP match you come across, or at least most of them. Well, so pretty much a bunch of tips are going to be said throughout this video that can help you. And there's going to be some background playing of just me killing stuff. But mostly it's going to be stuff just telling you different little tips and tricks you can use. And if you, God forbid, see these or even these, then the only advice I can give to you is to try your best. Because after all, winners never quit and quitters never win. With that being said, let's get right into the actual video and start giving you guys some little tips and tricks about Elden Ring PvP. So, pretty much, if there's, say, a bleed build user, I hate those guys. I'm assuming you do as well, unless you are one. And if you are one, then leave. Anyway, so if you're fighting a bleed user, what you're going to use is mostly ranged. You're going to try to keep your distance. You're going to keep your distance away from them. And you're going to use either incantations, spells, or even crossbows, normal bows, any sort of ranged weapon you have, or ranged Ash of War, or whatever you may have on you at the time. You should use that to keep your distance so that they have a harder time hitting you and a harder time inflicting that bleed that they love so dearly and the only reason they are so good at the game. So you're going to keep your distance and you're going to use your best incantations, your best spells, your best Ashes of War so that you can keep your distance from those stinky little rivers of blood users. As well as that, there's also a lot of issues with other people using incantations or spells or ranged things against you because it makes you keep your distance if you're a pure melee user. So if you are a pure melee user and you have issues with fighting ranged spells, ranged Ashes of War, incantations like Elden Stars or Comet Azure, what you're going to want to do is you're going to do a lot of dodging. You have to be really good at dodging. You cannot miss one, or you're going to take quite a bit of damage if they're using those hard-hitting spells like Comet Azure or Elden Stars. So you're going to keep dodging until you get right up close to them. Or if you have your own incantations, then what you can do to interrupt spells, if they take a long time to cast, you can use the Frenzied Burst, incantation. The Frenzied Burst incantation has quite a bit of stagger. Another thing you could do is things such as the Iron Balls or any fist weapons that can stagger. If they're taking a long time to cast spells, then you can get up close to them, hit them with staggering weapons. Heavy weapons, colossal weapons, anything that has a lot of stagger that you can get your hands on. However, if they're using heavy armor, heavy poise armor, then that may be an issue for you. But the greatest option for stagger would most likely be that frenzy version, because that just knocks them out of the sky. Ancient dragon spears that do a lot of damage. So you can stagger them out of the sky, knock them to the ground, and get all their hits. Some examples of good weapons that you can use are Faith. If you're using Faith, Blasphemous Blade, God's Sword, those are very good options. Dexterity, I hate to say this, but your best options are mostly lead weapons like Katana. If you have Arcane, you can use Rivers of Blood, or use Curve Swords, dual Curve Swords, to get lots of fast hits in all at one time. So a lot of hitting. With your strength, I recommend Great Swords, Axe of God, Great Colossal Legend, normal Great Sword weapon, it's just all Great Sword. Dexterity and upgrade options, like Ox Fang, of course, with its Ashen War weapon class. It's just a great use in that Ashen War. If you have faith and using strength as well, now it's Black Blades and other down. Sacred Relic Greatsword if you're using primarily faith and dexterity. That has a really good Ashen War on it, that has a really wide area, has a lot of AoE. Golden Order. Golden Order Greatsword is a bit of a controversial one, but it's also still a great option. It primarily scales with skill, but it also takes dex and strength to use. It's a great option if you're going for mostly just melee hits. The Ashen War is not the best, but it's still pretty useful. And for intelligence, if you're using melee, intelligence, Darkening Greatsword can never go wrong. One of the best weapons in the game, in my opinion. And Ruin's Greatsword, of course, it has the Waves of Destruction Ashen War. It's just great all around. It doesn't have much intelligence, it's mostly strength, but it's still skills, mostly with strength, but still, it's a little bit of intelligence scaling. Another really great weapon is probably Weapons Rage. I was saying I never went too into depth with it. It's Taker's Flames has a very flat out, straightforward slash to the ground where it builds up like the sword doesn't have the right part does like the slam and it's a lot more, but it's pretty much that. It gives you health on hit, and it's just all around a lot of damage, so great attack. Some more good weapons include Black Knife, which has a sort of destined death attack similar to the Black Blade, where it does drain the enemy's health and takes a chunk of their max health out. And as well as that, another faith weapon that you could use if you're doing a Madness build, you could do Vike's War Spear, which has the Frenzy Flame Thrust, where it stabs into the ground and does a big explosion that causes a lot of madness buildup. And of course, if you're going for a lot of speed, a lot of swiftness in your attacks, you could always go with Claws, Bloodhound Claws, Raptor's Talons, both great weapons. And if you are going for fist weapons, there's the best option. You can never go wrong with the Iron Balls. And Cypher Kata if you're going for faith. So, incantations-wise, if you're doing Dragon Cult incantations, you can do Gravel Stone that boosts Dragon Cult incantations, Clawmark Seal boosts Bestial incantations, and Frenzy Flame boosts Frenzy Flame incantations, of course. Dragon Communion Seal boosts Dragon Communion, and so forth and so on. Most of the other seals boost different ones. And for armor, there's a lot of great options, but mostly go with stuff with high poise and try to stick to a medium roll. If you have a heavy roll, you're probably going to miss most, if not all, of your dodges, and it's just not great to have. But in my opinion, armor, if it doesn't have effects, it's mostly for show and not for, like, boosting defense. Because most armor does not give you too much defense, but some of them do. And most of the ones that do are very heavy, so they're not very good for use. Not having a lot of endurance. So, I'd say stick to having very light armor. Armor that looks nice over armor that has the most defense. mostly choose stuff that has high poise and low, so that you're not in a medium roll, so you're sticking to a medium roll, and that you also have a harder time getting stacked. And with that being said, we have come to the end of this video. If you would like another sort of tutorial on different stuff, I could do PvE, different bosses, different walkthroughs on bosses, and my experience with them, then make sure to hit the like button and definitely subscribe to the channel. That helps out a lot. Anyway, with that being said, see you next time.